Okay, here we are in lesson 2. Now, can I talk just for a moment to all the musicians? If you're a musician, if you play a musical instrument, if you sing, pay attention to this. Ready? Ray Charles, one of the greatest musicians of the last century, he said this. He said, I was born with music inside me. He said music was like one of my parts, like my ribs, like my kidneys, like my liver, like my heart, my blood. He said it was a force already within me when I arrived on the scene. It was a necessity for me like food or water. If you ask any parent who has more than one child, they'll tell you this. They'll say it is weird, it is strange, it is freaky. I'm not kidding you, but seriously, my kids. Same genes, same parents, grew up in the same house. But you know what? All my kids, they're all so different. Same cake mix, but they're all so different. My oldest Grace, brilliant at sport. Every sport she picks up like amazing, right? My second Eden, hates sport. But if you put her on stage to dance, to sing, to perform, she like comes alive, right? My third Willow, her number one character strength is like bravery. So any sport that requires bravery, hockey, gymnastics, diving, she thrives in. She loves the opportunity to be brave. My son, Justice, that boy was just born for the stage, just loves to act and loves to perform. But they're all so different. Hey, Lady Gaga puts it like this. She said, music changed my life. I don't know where I'd be without it. I love this. Write these 2 words down. May sound simplistic, but they're actually really powerful. Ready? Don't ignore. Don't overlook. Don't push aside. Don't neglect the gift. Don't ignore even the smallest glimmer of passion in your soul. Run towards it with everything you have. It could actually change your life, no matter how insignificant it might seem, no matter how inconsequential. Every gift starts out small, so don't neglect it, don't overlook it, don't push aside, even though you think it may not amount to something. Every gift planted, placed in a good environment, watered every day, the weeds are taken out, will flourish and will grow. In fact, you'll love this. For those of you who are actors, anyone interested in acting or performing, this is for you. Chris Koffler from Glee, the TV series, he said this: I've wanted to be an actor since I was an embryo. He's basically saying, my earliest memory, this is all I've ever wanted to do. Have you ever met people like that? Who've just always known? Just always had this knowing. Not many of us are like that. Most of us have to go on this road of self-discovery to figure out, but there are some people who've just always known. He said, this sense of purpose gave me the determination to say, yes, I can, despite the many that actually said no. Listen, I've read hundreds, if not thousands, of autobiographies, and every one of those autobiographies, they all say slightly different, all pretty much the same thing. They all talk about having a deep, abiding sense of purpose. By the time you finish these online lessons, I'm hoping that each and every one of you leave with a deep, abiding sense of purpose. Now, here's my problem. I can only speak in 300 schools a year. I'd love it to be more, but I can't. If you know someone in another school that I'm never going to get a chance to speak to, can you please give this message to them? It's from the head of Nike in that global sporting brand. I just read his autobiography, Shoe Dog. Phil Knight, who started Nike, wrote this message to young people. I think it's incredibly significant and powerful. You may not write it all down, but just write down one word, one phrase, one line that sticks out the most to you. He says this, and I love this, and such a great message for all of us to hear. Ready? He says, don't settle for a job or a profession or even a career. Seek a calling. Even if you don't know what that means, seek it. Why? Because if you follow in your calling, the fatigue will be easier to bear, the disappointments will be few, and the highs will be like nothing you've ever experienced. So seek a calling, and please don't misunderstand me. Ready? I'm not here to try and motivate you here today, because we do agree that motivation comes and goes. I'm not here to try and motivate you. I'm here to help you discover purpose and meaning. Because if you discover purpose and meaning, you have all the motivation you need. Because the more self-aware you become, the easier it is for you to manage yourself. Self-awareness leads to self-management. The reason I say you can't organize yourself is because you're not self, but if you can start to become self-aware, that's why doing that character strengths test is just a really great start. The more self-aware you become, the better off you'll be. One of the problems why we can't be self-aware is because we're always got a device with us. We have no time for self-creation because we have all these external inputs coming at us all the time. But if you allow yourself to become bored, if you allow yourself to just sit and reflect and contemplate and imagine what you actually could be, then those are the moments where we can actually create who we are and who we actually want to be. Now, some of you might be sitting there thinking, awesome, Glenn, my life has purpose. Only problem is I actually don't know what that is. For those of you, let me just give you this little piece of advice. All this seminar is about, in the moments that I have with you, all this seminar is about is helping you understand that your life has purpose. And if you can come to that kind of knowledge, that kind of understanding, I guarantee you'll find it. Now that your eyes have been enlightened to the fact that your life actually has a purpose. How does it work? It works like this. Let me illustrate to you like this. Any of you ever been shopping before? Of course you have. But have you ever walked on a shop and you know how the sales assistants come up to you and they sometimes bother you? They come up to you and go, can I help you? And you say, no, I'm just looking. But they're really persistent. They say, well, what are you looking for? And you say back to them something like this, well, you know what? I actually don't know, but I'll know it when I see it. That's what your purpose is like. I have students sit in one of my seminars, have no idea what their purpose is, but then 6 months later, sometimes 2 days later, write to me and they say things like this, Glenn, I went to a sporting game. I don't usually go to sporting games, that's not really who I am. But you asked me to try some new things, so I did. My friend rang me up, said I had a spare tickets. At first I said no, but then I rang him back and said, no, I'll come. So go to this sporting game, and listen, Glenn, honestly, it's not the athletes on the field. It's that physio. When that physio runs out to help that player, something on the inside of me came alive. I'm telling you, you'll know it when you see it. Or someone else wrote to me and said this, I went to a stage production. Don't usually go to stage productions, but I was there. And listen, it wasn't the actors on the stage, it was that guy up in that lighting box. When I took all the lights and the sounds, the atmospheres able to create in that room, something on the inside of me came, you'll know it when you see it. Listen, whenever I hear great speakers, I can't sit still in my seat. I'm literally shaking in my seat because I know the greatness that lives on the inside of them is resonating with the greatness that lives on the inside of me. Some of you, whenever you see an opening ceremony of Olympic Games, you well up with tears. Why? Because you know you're supposed to be there. You'll know it when you see it. In fact, Anita Roderick, the owner of The Body Shop, anybody like The Body Shop? Coconut's my favorite body cream at the moment, so I don't know. Anyway, The Body Shop, Anita Roderick. This lady took an $8,000 loan and turned it into a $145 million company. How do you do that? You do that by having a vision. The number one thing I want you to do is I want you to start to create a vision, start to plan, take a few moments, take 5 minutes, take 10 minutes, take 15 minutes, and just start to think about where you want to be in the future. She says something that's really, really powerful, and I want you to all write it down, and it says this: to succeed, you have to believe in something with such a passion that actually becomes a reality. How did I build a youth center with $2 in my pocket while I was still sick? It's because I actually believed in it with such a passion that actually, how are you going to achieve that impossible dream you have? You have to believe in it with such a passion that actually becomes a reality. Now, this is the number one question that I was getting emailed from students. I was getting emailed this question, like I'm not kidding you, like almost 20 times a week. I got so sick and tired of answering the same question via email, I now answer the question in the seminar. So don't you dare email me and ask me this question. If you email me and ask me this question, I'm just going to write back and say, weren't you listening? Jokes, right? Listen, here's the question, right? Question goes something like this. Dear Glenn, I really want to be an actress, but my mum, she wants me to do law. Hey Glenn, I really want to be a muso, but my dad, he wants me to do medicine. Glenn, I want to be like a fashion blogger. But mum, she didn't know what that is. She was going to do architecture. Hey, you want to do this? Your parents want you to do that? There's like this disconnect. Can I tell you the answer to that question? And I'm a parent. I'm speaking on behalf of parents worldwide. When I run parenting seminars, I tell parents the same thing. Ready? Here's the answer. Ready? The answer is this. If you actually really, really believe that you can actually be an actress, then your parents will probably start to believe in it. Because you don't really believe in it, please don't expect them to. How do you prove to your parents that you believe in your dream? Here's what you do. You practice, you train, you study, you rehearse. You enroll in drama school. When they said they're not going to pay for it, you get a part-time job so you can pay for it. You get an audition after audition after audition. After a while, your parents will start to notice. Have you seen her? Seriously, have you seen her? She's been getting up at 5 a.m. every single morning going home that monologue. You know when we said we're going to pay for that drama school, you know what she went and did? She went and got a part-time job so she could pay for it. You know when we said we were going to drop her off at that audition? She caught 2 buses and a train to get out there. You know the day I went into her room? You know she was on that guitar for like 4 hours? Her fingers were almost bleeding. Have you seen her songbooks? She got songbooks piled this high in the corner of her room. Lyric ideas. She thinks she's going to write a warm room. You know she started a YouTube channel? You know for the first year, nobody paid any attention to her. But she just kept working her craft. She just kept practicing. She just kept posting. And she got like 10,000 followers. And you know the other day, I don't know how he did it. You know, he must have been like, seriously, he must have got the keys from the groundsman. You know, it was 10 o'clock at night, it was freezing cold and it was raining, but he was out there by himself running drills. You know what? I think she's starting to believe. I think he's starting, hey, why don't we get behind them and help them? Listen, but if you don't believe in your dream, please don't expect your parents to. You have to prove to them how devoted and how dedicated you are. And honestly, if you're not devoted and dedicated, then seriously, get another dream. Because you don't really want it. If you really wanted it, you'd go for it, right? Talk is cheap. I'm so tired of seeing all these young people talk about all things. No, if you want this, nobody should be able to talk you into it, and nobody should be able to talk you out of it. Deep down the base, you know that you want this. I'm sure you're familiar with this story, right? Emma Stone, from a really young age, or when she was 14, came up with this idea that she needs to start to get this acting thing up and going. That she needs to start thinking about her purpose. Because if you don't think about your purpose, then all you got left is for your imperfections to focus on, right? So at 14, she comes up with this idea that she needs to leave Arizona and move to LA to get this. And it wasn't like she'd been acting in any big way. She'd done a couple of school plays, but she knew when she was on stage, that's where she wanted to be, right? That's where she needed to be. But she knows her parents aren't going to let a 14-year-old girl move from Arizona to LA. So what she does, she comes with a plan, a blueprint. She rings a removalist company and she estimates all the stuff they have in their house, and she gets a written quote for what it'll cost to move all of their family's gear from Arizona to LA. She Google Earths some big movie studios in LA, finds a suburb, rings a real estate agent in that suburb, and works out what an apartment will cost. She puts this all together in a PowerPoint presentation called Project Hollywood, and she pitches the idea at her parents. Her parents are blown away by can't believe what she's actually pieced together. They say to her this, honey, let's just leave it for 12 months. If in 12 months' time, you still really want to do this, we'll see if we can make this happen. 12 months' time, she's just like counting down the days. Her and her mum go on a scouting trip, then up connecting with a few people, and up decide to stay, right? Then like 6 months later, Dad sells off his construction business and joins them. And then every audition she goes to, nothing. For 4 years, nothing seems to be working. She's now 19. They're just about to move back to Arizona when all of a sudden she decides to go for one more audition. It's a small TV commercial. She ends up getting it. It's her first big break. Then 8 years later, she ends up winning an Oscar because like a 14-year-old girl knew the shadow of a doubt who she was. She says this, I made PowerPoint presentations for my parents when I was 14, all about why I should be an actor. I make presentations because when I feel strong about something, I start to cry. When you feel strong, you know it when you see it. I hope that has really spoken to some of you. And I'm really trying to reach each and every one of you individually. So listen, if there's anything I can do to help you with, please, I'll give you my email address at the end and we can talk some more. But that's the end of lesson 2. We'll be back for lesson 3 very, very shortly. See you soon.